a-hole for not kicking my best friend out of my wedding after she spilled a drink on my sister-in-law at my wedding. Around 3 months ago, I, 25 female, got married to my husband, 27 male. I've been hearing about this from my in-laws non-stop. My husband has a younger sister, Alice, 22 female, who in my opinion is a total brat. Alice has had some type of childhood sickness, but she overcame it. However, his parents were extremely lenient with her to the point where she cannot be corrected in any form without it being a big deal. She's been let go from multiple jobs because of this, and she doesn't have many friends and always has to be the center of attention. Ooh, I see we're seeing a little bit of a theme in this video. At my other sister-in-law's birthday, their parents got Alice a gift just in case she got jealous. I hate that. Oh God. Like, that makes sense for a child, but it certainly does not make sense for a 22-year-old woman. I also don't think that you should be doing that when your kids are children, like getting them a gift so that they won't get jealous of somebody else. I think that teaches them all the wrong lessons, personally. I am an only child, and the only sisterly figure I have has to be my best friend, Marie. We met in 3rd grade, and since we were both only children, we instantly clicked. We are fiercely protective of each other. Yes, queen, love that for you. All you need is one good friend, babes. That's it. Husband and I decided to have a summer wedding, and to my surprise, Alice shows up wearing a lacy white dress.
Oh.
If you told me she picked this out of a wedding catalog, I would have believed you. Between the wedding and the main reception, we had a cocktail hour. People kept asking me about Alice, and I was becoming annoyed. A lot of people thought she was my husband's ex instead of his sister. Weird. I could tell the situation was pissing Marie off, and I watched Marie walk over to my husband's family, greet them, and on her way back, she tripped and fell by Alice while holding a glass full of red wine. Alice ran into the bathroom with mother-in-law following her.
Sorry.
And his dad came up to us and started to demand that Marie leave. I told them no. I'm sorry, where was the demand to make Alice leave when she showed up in a wedding dress to your wedding? I told them no, Marie is a lightweight and it was a mistake. Husband backed me up and said that since Marie is thin, she can't handle as much alcohol, but we'd make sure she'd sober up before the reception. At the reception, Alice was wearing a beautiful green dress brought to you by Ross. And Marie magically felt better. I love this friendship for you guys. Honestly, if your friend wouldn't spill a drink on someone that showed up in a white dress to your wedding, is she even your friend? My in-laws have been bringing up the incident nonstop, but I have a hard time feeling bad, even though I know it wasn't an accident. I think that your in-laws should have told her to go home. They were just enabling her at that point. That is so disrespectful. She should have been the one to be told to leave the wedding and go and change into something else. Marie just helped that along. I love this for you. I'm not mad about it. If she wouldn't change on her own accord.
We gotta do other things to ensure that happens.
Not the a-hole. Your in-laws created a monster and your friend was just fixing the white dress issue. Everyone knows you don't wear white to a wedding. Clearly they had a backup dress, so what's the problem? OP responds, they didn't have a backup dress, but there were outlet shops close to the venue and mother-in-law and sister-in-law got a last-minute dress at Ross. Good. No biggie. Honestly, they're lucky you didn't kick Alice out at the very start. Yeah, the fact that you're just still letting her be there, she should have left. To me, that's like incredibly disrespectful. Maybe Marie also could have pulled her aside and told her to change instead of ruining the dress. But I mean, why show respect to someone who doesn't show respect to you, you know? Once you show me disrespect, it goes out the window. Why haven't you suggested to them that Alice was an a-hole for wearing white? Stop putting up with their behavior. Marie is a legend and needs a medal. Get her a trophy. Best friend award. It's a very touchy subject. Anyone has ever told them anything about Alice, it's always met with, she had it rough during her childhood disease. But she's not sick anymore, right? It's not my place to tell them how to parent their daughter. But it was your wedding, babes. My husband and my other sister-in-law have given up saying anything about it because it's always been met with dismissiveness, even when they were kids. Now as adults, they've distanced themselves from their parents and the in-laws are either blind or acting blind as to why. They ruin any chance of Alice having normality because she's treated like a fragile doll. I mean, I get that to a certain extent, but that's not your problem because it's your wedding, babes. You are not the a-hole.
My boyfriend's best friend tried to ruin our relationship. Story time. So a little bit of background information. My boyfriend Steve used to be friends with this one girl, and we'll call her Amy. Now listen, this friendship was more flirty than anything. So me and him got to know each other through spring, summer, and we would always hang out after school. And sometimes Amy would be there too. So one night, me and Steve are FaceTiming and we admitted to each other that we actually really did like each other. So the next day we went on a date and it kind of just went from there. At this point, I'd started to become really good friends with Amy too. And after that we told her we were dating, she started acting really freaking strange around me. Whenever I would see her in the corridors at school, I'd try and say, hey, have a little conversation, and she would just give me this dirty look. She'd be like, so I started saying to Steve, like, I think Amy's really mad at me for something. And he said that he would talk to her. So before me and Steve started to date, Amy had mentioned that there was this guy that she wanted to ask to prom. And she said that she'd liked him for a really long time, actually. So Steve goes to speak to Amy. Steve comes up to me. We have the debrief. And he says, right, I know what the issue is. Apparently, you were flirting with this guy that she wants to take to prom. And that is when I started to connect the dots, and I was like, oh shit. And that was when I realised that the guy she had liked and wanted to take to prom was actually my boyfriend. And as he is telling me this, she starts FaceTiming me. And I'm like, hey sis, how are you? And she goes, well, I've called to just confront the situation head on. And the first thing she says is, you knew I liked Steve. She's like, how could you do this to me? I've been making a mood board about our prom experience for years. It's given crazy. And I said, well, why didn't you tell me that you liked him before we started dating? And then she says, well, what do you mean? You knew I liked him. Did I, Amy? Did I? But I was sitting there thinking about how they'd been best friends for like 5 years and nothing had happened. Basically, this isn't my fault. And then she says, I'm pretty sure if you just break up with Steve now, me and you can get past this and we can still be friends. I think that one might be a no, Amy. So I got Steve out and I was like, listen, we've talked this whole situation out. I didn't tell him all the specifics of what she said. I very much trust Steve, but I just wanted this whole situation over and done with, and I didn't want to drag him into it as well. So it kind of all settled down, but then a few weeks after that, she decides to get her brother involved. We'll call the brother Dave. Amy's brother and Steve were best friends, by the way. And buckle in, huns. So Amy starts saying a load of shite about how I had been hooking up with Dave, which obviously isn't true. Anyway, one day, Dave texts Steve and is like, I find it really strange how you've cut Amy off considering your girlfriend is the issue. And apparently Dave chose violence. Steve's like, what do you mean? He goes, your girlfriend texts me all the time. She booty calls me. We've been hooking up for ages. He's like, I can send you the evidence and the text. She's even sent me pictures that I can send you for proof. Obviously, none of this is true. Before I started to date Steve, I'd been dating this guy and he actually like leaked some of my pictures. So that is how he would have got pictures of me. So it actually happened that my best friends had to explain to Steve and back me up that this had actually happened. And it was at this moment that he realised that Dave and Amy were absolute lunatics, and he blocked them both and they haven't spoken since. And me and Steve are still together. Am I wrong for telling my terminally ill sister that she can't have my mum's engagement ring? Story time. So my mum passed away when I was 7 and she gave my uncle / her brother her engagement ring. The ring was originally her mum's and it has been passed down through many generations. And eventually I would be able to give it to my daughter or son when they wanted to get married. So 2 years after my mum passed, my dad remarried. This woman had 2 daughters. I wasn't really that close to them, but I also didn't have anything against them. We'll call her eldest daughter Amy. Now, unfortunately, last month, Amy was diagnosed with terminal cancer. A few days after we got this diagnosis, her boyfriend actually proposed to her, said that Amy had mentioned my mum's engagement ring. She said she absolutely loved it because it was just so beautiful. He said that she had always dreamed of having my mum's engagement ring because of how stunning it was. So her boyfriend told my dad's wife, and then my dad's wife told my dad. All 3 of them were like, just give it to her because you know one day you're going to eventually get it back. They were saying how nice it would be for me to be able to fulfill her wishes given the circumstances. I made it very clear that I did not want to give them my ring. However, I did say I could give them a photo of it so that they could get it replicated. We love a compromise. Woo! Unfortunately not. I wish I could do my makeup without getting mascara all over my eyelid. And they did not like that suggestion one bit. God, I forgot how gorgeous this flawless filter is. And this was when they told me that I was denying her a family ring. But with all due respect, like, she is not part of that family. Amy never even met my mum. So the more I thought about it, I was a little confused as to how Amy knew about the ring in the first place. And this is when he told me that he had been showing Amy pictures of the ring throughout the years. He said that he thought this would have been a nice little bonding thing to do with them when they were younger. My stepmom literally begged me to give her this ring. It went as far as Amy even writing me a letter asking if she could have my mum's ring. She said it would be an absolute honour to get married wearing my mum's ring. And I'm getting shit from my dad, my stepmom, and my stepsister's fiance. So what do you think? Am I wrong here?
Am I the asshole for not wanting my boyfriend to bring his husky on vacation with us?
That's a huge dog. That's That's a human.
Yep. My 34 female boyfriend, 35 male, and I have been together 1.5 years, and he has a 9-year-old husky. I've been trying to plan a getaway/vacation together since we started dating. At first, every time I would mention going away, he would either want to bring his dog with him or tell me he can't put her in a kennel or dog sitter, etc. because she wasn't spayed. She was finally spayed 9 months ago. I will be honest, I can't stand his dog. She doesn't listen ever unless you raise your voice at her, which he deals with. She doesn't eat her food and will let herself starve for XYZ reason. She runs away every chance she gets when let out. She will run away while next to her. She is horrible to walk. She pulls like there's no tomorrow. She also tries to jump on people in the street and run after dogs, cats, squirrels, etc. She jumps on you when you come in, will sit on you if you let her on the bed or couch, so I no longer allow her on my bed. You can't crate her because she destroys the crate. You also can't have doors closed because she has destroyed door frames. For all these reasons, I refuse to have her come with us anywhere on vacation.
This dog's a monster.
I would break up with him over this dog.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
One of my exes had this like little Yorkshire rat dog. And the dog would just nonstop bark and like hate it when I was with him. And whenever I was alone, I'd be like, I don't love you like he does. I'll put you in the fucking closet. Like this dog was so like, and with nip and just like would not shut the fuck. Like we were watching TV and the dog would bark for like 10 minutes and I'd be like, are we going to do something? And that's not hot when your boyfriend's just yelling at an animal. I'm like, is this the relationship? Whenever we hang out, just you yelling at your dog?
It's such an ick.
Such an ick. Anyway, sorry, continue.
To me, that is not a vacation. It will not be relaxing. We will prevent ourselves from doing things, and she may destroy an Airbnb or hotel room if left alone. He, however, wants to do a pet-friendly vacation. He has no family or friends who could watch her, so the only option would be
They're
a kennel.
available, they just don't want to. Let's be honest. They're
Yeah.
like, ooh, my grandma's sick.
So the only option would be a kennel or dog sitter or some form of that. All of that makes him nervous, and he called me an asshole for not wanting to bring her along. So am I the asshole for not wanting to take a pet-friendly vacation?
You know who's the fucking asshole? The dog. This dog has crossed the line so many times.
And it's 9. Can't really change this dog overnight.
But then also he's the asshole for not fucking training his dog.
Yeah.
A husky.
This thing belongs on a sled team.
This dog belongs with the reindeer with Santa doing something like that.
Delivering
and not
presents.
being a cute pet. Like, what are you going to take to the beach? Vacation's for relaxing, not like fighting for your life with your dog.
This dog's a terrorist.
I do have to say, I grew up with cats, but I do love dogs.
Yeah.
And we'd like foster pit bulls and stuff. I know I'm an incredible person. Some people talk about how much they love their dog, and then when I'm with them, all they do is yell at their dog to like, get off this, stop eating this. And I'm like, is this fun?
Yeah.
Or do you just like saying you have a dog?
My wife and I lost our teenage son earlier this year. It's been heart-wrenching. My wife actually got fired from her job. She fell into a deep depression, as can be imagined. My brother has a girlfriend, 22, and she dabbles in the spiritual world and into all that kind of stuff. 3 nights ago, we had them over for dinner for my youngest birthday party. In front of my depressed wife and my 2 young children, she said, "I can feel your son here." She tells my wife that she can feel his presence here and that she just knows she can help us make contact and help us with closure. My youngest is confused, starts crying. My wife's on the verge of tears. I told her she needed to stop that or she can leave. She got upset and said she was trying to help us with closure that I don't understand. I told her to F off and leave. My brother got angry at me. We got into a big argument. They left. My wife is upset but thinks maybe I should have listened to her. She's desperate. My brother's texting me how disrespectful I was to his girlfriend and I need to apologize. Am I the asshole for telling my mom I will move out instead of paying $600 a month for rent? I'm 25 and I was paying $60 a week rent for a few years. I recently started a new temp job that pays pretty decent and they decided to keep me with the company last week. This morning, my mom texted me saying rent starts up again, $150 a week. I just told her I will move out. I already pay for my own meals. I only have my small bedroom to call my own in their house. I can rent a studio apartment 3 or 4 times the size of my room for a few hundred more, or could rent a room with friends for less than my mom is trying to charge me. It would be one thing if they cooked and cleaned for me every day and I was raking up their bills, but I do my own thing, pay my own bills. I never really even cross paths with my parents besides when I'm getting off work. My mom's definitely pissed that I said that, I can tell, but I'm also upset the person who birthed me is trying to get me to pay what I would pay a landlord for rent just to sleep in her house.